Hare Krishna, Amogh Lila Prabhu. Welcome
Hare
to the Monks
Krishna.
podcast. So nice to have you here.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's a great honor for me because personally, I am learning so much from the Monks podcast. I strongly recommend to all the preachers and all the devotees who really want to become more mature in their understanding of Krishna consciousness, whether it is a practical application or preaching application, because you bring out the best of the experience from the best of the devotees with their best of understanding in their respective services so beautifully, Prabhuji. Especially, I like the way you sum up everything at the end. That's so lovely, actually. That's so complete. And I also take so much learning from your websites like the spiritualscientist.com, which is an amazing compendium of so many wonderful concepts being so beautifully answered, Prabhuji. And the GitaDaily.com is also my resource for my Bhakti Shastri. Whenever I'm delivering Bhakti Shastri, my first resource after Sri Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is the GitaDaily.com. And of course, Chaitnaya.com, that is also a very good website, Prabhuji. Your books are very good, very, very inspirational. So much to learn from these books, your audios. You have answered more than 5,000 questions. My God.
Prabhu,
That's
really let me introduce you. You don't have to introduce me over here.
I just want to give my gratitude to you, Prabhuji. From past more than 2 decades, I'm hearing you and I'm learning from you. So to come to this platform, to the Monks podcast, where I'm a small student, where I'm learning from you and so many great devotees, Prabhuji, to come here on this platform, it's a great, great honor for me. I feel very small that here my teacher is here, my Shiksha Guru, Chaitanya Prabhuji is there, and Prabhuji. So that's why I should be, in fact, there should be role reversal. I should be asking questions. I should hear from you. But it's your humbleness and your kindness that you allowed me to come. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Sincere gratitude to you for your wonderful services from past more than 2 decades. It's really extraordinary.
Thank you, bro. Happy to be of service. And so I believe that we met about maybe 10, 11 years ago. Once I think you had come to Pune. That was our first meeting. Maybe more than 12, 14 years ago sometime. And then we met a few times when we came to Delhi. And whenever I had time to meet His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, we discuss about how the preaching in Delhi is expanding.
Yes.
And it is, I think, we could say, in the last 2 decades of our movement, I think the Delhi outreach would be one of the biggest success stories of our movement.
Yes.
A lot of things have been happening in various parts of the movement, but the Delhi outreach is spectacular. And parallel with that, your personal classes, many devotees had told me that your classes are wonderful. But I think we don't really get to hear classes till this whole till our movement took off on social media. They had to go out little off and go out of the way to hear anybody's classes. But on social media now it's coming up very, very widely. And in one sense, we have different devotees presenting Krishna consciousness on social media with varying degrees of reach. What I appreciate about you is 3 things. You are presenting straight Krishna consciousness. Although, so you have an attractive style. You have you could say a vibrant energy with you when you present. But at the same time, it's like your direct Krishna consciousness you're presenting. Now, there are different devotees who can present different aspects of Krishna consciousness. Some from the self-help direction, some from the more narration of Leela direction. But you are presenting Krishna consciousness directly. And the fact that you are able to attract such a significant audience through direct presentation indicates multiple things. First is, of course, your capacity to present it attractively. Second is that there is also a need and a hunger for direct devotional content also, direct devotional spiritual content. That is something which I would like to explore with you. Another is that it's not, while your outreach through is very significant, it's become very noticeable, but it's also reflective of the overall significant outreach that is happening. So it's like you could say the tide is rising in our outreach, and maybe you can say you are the highest wave within that tide, or the most visible wave within that tide, at least on the social media. So it's both ways. So it's, in that sense, it's one of the things with somebody who becomes very visible on social media is, okay, somebody becomes attracted. What after that? How are they going to be connected and cultivated further?
Yes.
So when you are already seen as a devotee and you are a part of a community, then the subsequent journey, it's like from Shraddha towards next steps, Bhajana Kriya, Sadhu Sangha, those become easier.
Yes.
So I think that is also something which is very second part which is significant. And third is that you also address contemporary issues.
Yeah.
And in general, I sometimes use the word contemporary is equal to controversy.
Oh.
Generally, if you just speak on Shastra, the scope for controversy is not so much.
Oh yeah.
But if you get into contemporary issues, controversies to sometimes are unavoidable.
Yes.
And then how we deal with them is also a challenge.
Oh yes.
So in that sense, you are not afraid of that. You are not. There is caution, but there is also like paralysis because of too much caution.
Oh yes.
So you are able to address the contemporary issues. I think the way you address this recent Bangladesh attacks was very good. Without criticizing any particular religion, you pointed out how this is not what kind of God would want anything like this.
Oh yeah.
So it was very intelligently done. So I feel that we all learn through experience how to address contemporary issues, and I can see that astuteness is coming in you. So it's wonderful to have you here, Prabhu.
I'm learning from you, Prabhuji. Actually, I saw your video on Bangladesh. I took the content from there. I'm just a stealer. I'm a thief.
Sometimes I say in Parampara, there is no copyright. To copy is the right.
Is the right.
So I also copy from different people. So maybe, Prabhu, we can start with your journey. So how were you introduced to Krishna consciousness, and how did you eventually take up online outreach specifically?
Okay, how I came to it, it's a long story, but I'll just cut it short. That I had spiritual inclination. Reason being, I could see that God has given me so much, but I have not given anything back in return as a reciprocation. So any new achievement in my life would suffocate me. So that's why. So this was building in. So secondly, and I had attraction for the Gita because in NCERT there used to be Gita shloka, a chapter was there. So Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavajranto. So this shloka, it really captivated my mind because my mind is actually chanchal and stubborn. So I could see that here is something which is speaking about my inner world. So attraction for the Gita started from NCERT book. And then thirdly, I want to do something for humanity. So earlier my plan was to become very rich and serve the poor people. But I could see that people are suffering less because of body, but more because of the mind. So I should I should serve the minds of the people. But how to do that? I had no answer for this. Later on, when I read the Gita, of course, other than Sri Prabhupada's version of the Gita, I could see that, yes, it is really very invigorating. It is very uplifting for the mind. But of course, Sri Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita was very most impressive. Reason being, here I could see that author is very much, he's addicted to God. And he wants to give God to people through his writing. So in this way, these three things were there. My desire to, as a reciprocation of gratitude towards God. So I should reciprocate. Secondly, I could see that people are suffering. I should serve them. And my love for the Gita. So in this way, so I left after 12th class when I passed my 12th standard in search of God. So I met some of the spiritual teachers here and there. Finally, I reached ISKCON. I got all the answers to all my questions. Very impressive questions, very impressive answers, authentic scientific answers. So in this way, I got convinced. And then afterwards, of course, I came back. I joined as a monk in the year 2000. So I stayed for a few months, learned some basic concepts, came back to home, did my computer science in graduation, and then worked outside in the corporate sector. And then because I had the desire to become monk, because I had experienced it, so that's why I joined once again after 10 years in 2010, back again as a monk, monastery in ISKCON east of Kailash. Served there for 3 years, and then in 2013 I was transferred to ISKCON Dwarka as a vice president. So now it's being like 8-9 years in ISKCON Dwarka. So 13 years in ISKCON east of Kailash, and then 8 years or 9 years here in Dwarka. So 2000 to 2022. This is my journey.
That's amazing. So 2000 means you must have been. This was after your 12th, you said. So you must be very young
yes,
at that.
I just passed my 12th.
That's amazing.
So at that time, I chose Lord Shiva for time being. But later on, I discovered that, yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Shivji is my guru who has given me Krishna. So
it's like beautiful. That. Wonderful. So yeah, I've heard about this journey on some of your talks earlier. But a couple of things over here. When you, so you felt that the Gita would help you to assist others in dealing with the problems of the mind.
Yes.
That was one major aspect of it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, definitely. So did that also shape the way you presented your classes and the way you started doing your outreach?
Oh yes, Roji, absolutely. Because I could see that there are people who, on the name of motivational speaking, they speak some of the concepts. They are connected to the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, everything is directly or indirectly connected to the Bhagavad Gita, but they do not give credit to the Bhagavad Gita. They have their own name, but I could see that this is cheating. They should give credit to the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita actually it actually acts on the root. So that's why when we speak authentically from the Bhagavad Gita, and we see like in your website, you give such wonderful titles to all of your articles, Prabhuji. The title in itself is speaking so much, and they are all coming from the Bhagavad Gita. So GitaDaily.com in itself is a proof that all solutions can come from Srimad Bhagavad Gita actually.
I don't know about GitaDaily.com, but that's true. I think there are, there is the content and there is the presentation of the content in terms of contemporary language and contemporary concept, you could say conceptuology or contemporary way of thinking also. We just need to present appropriately.
Yes.
And the Gita does have wisdom that can address current issues.
Yes.
And so your services, you said that you're the vice. Were you always involved in youth outreach also in East of Kailash? How did you evolve toward the service of online outreach?
Prabhuji, actually it all started in Mayapur Dham, because at that time we had ISKCON Desire Tree. So they saw me and they said, Prabhuji, we would like to shoot some videos with you. I said, Prabhuji, I am fool number one. I do not know anything. In ISKCON Mayapur, there are so many intelligent devotees, realized devotees, senior devotees. You please make videos with them. But since they were very insistent, so I said, okay, all right. Just to please you, I'll do that.
This was which year roughly?
I'm sorry, Prabhuji.
Which year was this roughly?
This was 2015 around, Prabhuji.
Oh, that was the time when Hare Krishna TV was just taking off.
Oh, yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yes.
So then they shot some of the videos, and by Krishna's mercy, people liked it. Devotees liked it. So again, they came back to Delhi to shoot some of the videos. So we shot around 40 videos because we hired one hotel room and we gave 6,000 rupees for the hotel. So we were thinking, 6,000 rupees. So let's take full advantage of this money. So we shot 40 videos in a single day. And by Krishna's mercy, they were also liked by the devotees. So in this way, 40 videos more were being shot. So in this way, so the journey started, and devotees were liking it. People were liking it. I also addressed some of the issues like ISKCON is an American organization who sends money to America. It was the thing at that time, but somehow by Krishna's mercy, that it went very well, so people could understand it, and that's why it all started from there. And then later on, my Ashraya, which is ISKCON East of Kailash channel. Some people think that it is my channel. It's not my channel. It is ISKCON East of Kailash channel. And I may be called as a superhero of the channel at the max, but not really the owner of the channel. But later on, then my Ashraya came into being, and then we started shooting the videos for my Ashraya channel. Ashraya basically is like a contemporary version of Bhakti Vriksha. So we made this my Ashraya as the channel's name, and then from there it took off further, and where it is today, it is growing by Krishna's mercy. Around 1 million, 1.2 million we have subscribers in my Ashraya.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. So it is in 4 or 5 years, that means?
Oh yes, Prabhuji. So my Ashraya around 3 years back we started.
Really? 3 years? That's amazing.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. And so normally, do you select what kind of content do you put there, or whatever classes you go you put all of them there on my Ashraya?
Prabhuji, of course, what we do, we see what is running in the minds of the people in terms of some of the questions, some of the ambiguities, some of the controversial things in scriptures. So this we seek, and also we read the comments, because people say, we want a video on this topic. So we go through the comment section as well. And then another devotee who is Vigyan Vihari Prabhu, who is the person behind the camera, he goes through all these comments, and then he says, Prabhuji, currently this is running in the minds of people. This we need to address. So then we make a video on that topic. So we always try to bring relevance in our videos more and more. And that is also a reason why people like it.
Maybe first you can start with what all was done during COVID, because that was a big thing.
Oh yeah, Prabhuji. So during COVID pandemic, especially wave 2 was very, very deadly. Wave 1, of course, was very expansive, but wave 2 was very deadly. And during this period, when we help people, giving them prasadam, so that was very, very impressive. In fact, first time maybe the drone was used by the devotees to deliver prasadam, because somebody is staying in skyscraper building, somebody is on 20th floor, the lady is pregnant, the person is old, they cannot come down because they're quarantined, and they cannot cook, they cannot go outside because the shops are closed. So it was a very precarious situation. So in such a case, we even delivered prasadam with drone. And the drone goes to the 20th floor, and then we go give a call, Hare Krishna, Mataji, in your balcony there is prasadam. What? Really? Oh my God, certainly God has sent this prasadam. So this kind
that
of
was, I think that was viral on social media also, that video.
should I release?
So how many did you use deliver using drones?
Many, we actually hired many of the drones. Many drones we hired.
Oh, really? Okay.
And we gave them training also to those who are transferring it, so that they do not mess it here and there. Of course, drone also has got this inbuilt system that it doesn't collide with something. When it goes near and then maybe say 5 meter or 10 meter or so, then it stops. Even if we are pressing the button of the jockey, but still it doesn't go there. So in this way, we delivered prasadam, Prabhuji, and so every day around 5,16,000 plates of prasadam has been distributed. And India Book of Records, they came and counted. Now somebody may say these ISKCON people are exaggerating figures. They are very expert in that. But no, we are not exaggerating. Here is a party who is outside ISKCON, India Book of Records, they came and then they recorded that 5,16,000 plates were distributed every single day. And wherever it was being distributed, so over there, Kirtan was also happening. Not all, in all the places, but yes, in many other places, devotees are doing Kirtan and distributing prasadam. And we also used to have a stall of Bhagavad Gita. Anybody wants to purchase Bhagavad Gita, they can come and they can also purchase. That was also very good. And we employed more than 1,000 e-rickshaws. So these e-rickshaws would carry prasadam to various places, and there would be a place that, like, those who are suffering from COVID in a surrounding area, they would come to this place, make a queue, take the food, take the prasadam. So, and they could see that it is such a healthy prasadam. It was not wishy-washy attempt. No, it was actually very good quality prasadam which was being served. So they liked this as well. And Kirtan was happening, book distribution was happening. So the footfall actually increased. In between, when we opened the temple, many people came just to say thank you. Actually, when we have COVID care center, in COVID care center, we cured more than 2,700 patients, even with oxygen level 60. And what we were giving.
Wait a minute. How did you cure? Means what? Medical facilities were provided?
Yes, medical facilities. We had this college. In college, there is hostel, because colleges are closed. So hostel is now available to us. So we requested the college like Deen Dayal Upadhyay College. So they have a hostel there, boys hostel, girls hostel. We also have NSUT, Netaji Subhash University of Technology. So there also the hostels were available. So we made the beddings. We had some basic facility like, for example, say oxygen cylinders and all. And we used to give them very healthy prasadam with spices. We used to give them prasadam as well. And then we also used to have kirtan with them. A devotee would go with PPE kit and would do kirtan for them. They're going into each of the rooms and then doing kirtan, telling them about the holy name. And all 2,700 people who came to our COVID center, when they left, they were having the bead bag and they were chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That we are so grateful to ISKCON that they have helped us in this difficult time. And all of them, they were chanting. In fact, they were hesitant to leave. They were saying, no, can't I stay for a few more days? Doctor would say, but excuse me, you are done. You are cured. There is no more COVID in you. 3 more days, just 3 more days, just 3 more days. And then they would stay there, and then they would relish the kirtan, have prasadam. Of course, we would give them a medication as well. But in this way, there was not even a single casualty. Not even a single casualty. In fact, government was very thankful to us that the hospitals are already overloaded with so many patients. And here is a facility which has been created that in case you are not very chronically ill, you come to ISKCON's COVID care center and then you get cured. And that's wonderful. In fact, one of the person who left our COVID care center, he went to the hospital. He had to leave his body. He was thinking that the family members were thinking that he was there in ISKCON's COVID care center. He was improving. So we used to give them prasadam and some medicines and kirtan, and they were chanting Hare Krishna. So many of them, not even a single casualty. In fact, all the devotees who were involved in this project, not even a single person got COVID. Even though they were cooking, they were distributing, they were going there, they were giving prasadam to the COVID patients. but not even a single person got COVID.
And like taking a little broader picture, since you have been now involved more than 10-15 years in outreach at a very broad level also, what do you feel are the major challenges? What is it that stops people from taking up bhakti? Hmm? Or is there something more you would like to speak about the your outreach during COVID or something?
Okay, I request many devotees that they should come to a social media platform, because currently people are on social media. Where people are there, we should go and address them there. Sometimes devotees, they do not come in front because they say, no, Prabhuji, we should be humble. So humble means we should stay in background. We should not go there. Popularity, fame, this, that. You would be spoiled, this, that. So firstly, Srila Prabhupada used to say, one of the definition of humility, he said, humility means becoming aggressive for Krishna. That's one of the definition of humility, becoming aggressive for Krishna. So we should also become aggressive for Krishna, and that is humbleness. Not always saying, no, I'm small, I'm insignificant, I'm fallen. Yeah, okay, yeah, done. Okay, that's beautiful feeling. Apart from that, we should become aggressive for Krishna. So they do not come to social media platform. There are some great preachers. I'm like a small bacteria before them. But they come and they can actually influence so many devotees. So somewhere I would request the preachers that they should also come to social media platforms, and they should also address. If they do that, that will be very, very good. And of course, we might be lacking in some skill. So we can learn that skill. Absolutely fine. We can do that. And we should also innovate. Sometimes there is a struggle between innovation and deviation. Whenever something new comes, then people would say, oh, that's a deviation. But that can be an innovation as well, provided people are becoming Krishna conscious and essential principles of bhakti are not compromised. That's perfectly okay. Like when I did Bhagavad Gita thing on whiteboard setup, when I'm writing also on the glass, on what side there is a shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So writing onto the glass, people appreciated a lot, because I did a research that how are these coaching centers they are teaching their students, because it's COVID. So one setup which I got to know was the glass setup, which is the light board setup. So you write something onto the glass and you explain the concepts. But whatever you are writing from that side would be actually it's a mirror image. It would be like other way around. So we used to make a video and then with the help of software create the mirror image. So whatever I'm writing is now it is more readable. So the projector is not on that side of glass, but on my side. So what I'm writing is also other way around. The text which is getting displayed is also other way around. But now we make the video and we create the mirror image of the whole thing. So now everything is fine. And people, they went through this Bhagavad Gita course, and many of the videos have reached the lakhs and lakhs of viewership. Reason being, they saw first time Bhagavad Gita being taught like this. So innovation, we should also go for innovation. Like Bhaksa Maharaj, he had this theistic exhibitions. It was a very innovative idea actually. And when Hiranyakashipu is being killed by Lord Nrsimhadev, so he would tag absolute reality kills materialism. A very innovative way of giving the message. Bhaksa Maharaj was so innovative. Wow. So that's why we should innovate more and more ideas, and we have to pace up so that we can catch up with this world, and then we can give them Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we would be there in our world thinking, people are so materialistic. They are not coming, Baba, because there is so much tamas nowadays in Kali Yuga. Well, that's the truth, but somewhere we are to catch up with them to give them Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So we are to innovate ideas.
True. Now, social media is it's also at one level a very reductionistic vision to say that it is all tamas. It is the digital world is a reflection of the human world.
Oh yes.
And the human world has sattva, rajas, tamas, and similarly there is also sattva, rajas, tamas over there. It is depends on what we are providing there and what we are seeking there.
Yes.
Oh, it's wonderful. So you are on all social media. Which all social media have you focused on?
Well, primarily I am on YouTube, and but of course people take out clips from the YouTube and they post on Instagram and other platforms as well. I personally do not exist with my own ID. I only post my videos on my Ashraya, and then people clip out. They take out the clips here and there. Like I got maybe 10-15 IDs maybe on Instagram, and all of them are fan-made IDs. I have not made single one of them. I do not exist on Facebook. I personally, where I'm checking Facebook, I do not exist on Instagram, but there are people who are doing it on these different platforms. So that's how so it's more of the devotees who are spreading it. I'm just giving my original content in my Ashraya. But we also allow them, okay, in case you are doing it, all right. As you said, copyright means it's your right to copy.
Wonderful.
Like Microsoft became so popular. Why? Because Microsoft allowed piracy. Otherwise, there are other operating systems as well. Like IBM has got, and Sun Microsystem, they have got very good operating systems. But Microsoft is so famous because it allowed piracy. In Nehru Place, 50 rupees, you get Windows XP and all these different versions of Windows. But through this piracy being allowed, so it went everywhere. So somewhere we had to allow, okay, yeah, copy.
True. Wonderful. And regarding social media, I feel that COVID has, in one sense, made it unavoidable for us to come online. And we need to increase our presence more and more.
Yes.
So any practical tips you would like to give for those who would like to increase their presence? One is, of course, the conceptual hesitation. That is it name, fame? Is it that definition of humility is being aggressive for Krishna is beautiful. Arjuna was humble, but he was shooting arrows.
Yeah, absolutely, Prabhuji. Yes, that's true.
Has your success on social media also inspired other devotees to take it up in either in Dwarka temple or in Delhi or other places? Like
Yes,
that?
yes, Prabhuji, of course. Yeah. They are doing on different levels, of course. But yes, there are devotees who are doing this because they can see that it is giving results. People are getting connected to us. So if I wait that somebody would come to my class and listen, and then I'll make the person Krishna conscious. Well, a class which is attended by only 50 people, as soon as this class goes on social media, then there is 50,000. So 50,000. In case you are popular, then 5 lakhs, 1 million, one single class. Like my class on Lord Shiva was attended by only 50 people in the class, in Bhagavatam class. But that is like 1.2 million on YouTube. So that's why where people are there, we have to go there. And then there are devotees who are taking it up.
Wonderful. And it seems that broadly we'll conclude with this. In general, the Hindi audience, we hadn't tapped it so much, isn't it? It's in the last 10-15 years it has happened much more.
Yes.
After I think the Glory of India temple came up, from that time onwards, things have just, you could say, I don't want to use that metaphor of exploded, but they expanded in an explosive way, you can say. So is there any reason for this, you feel, or it's just that we had the devotees and we focused the energy? Because in one sense, we as a movement, if you see, there is a significant presence in Bengal, then there is a significant presence in some parts of Maharashtra.
Yes.
If you consider in India also, we are not like very big in various places.
Yes.
So I would say Bengal is probably the most, because that's Bengali culture is Mahaprabhu's culture, a lot of it. And then Delhi, it has happened, is huge in the last 2 decades, in my understanding.
Yes, Prabhuji, absolutely.
Any particular reasons you feel for that?
Prabhuji, one thing is book distribution. Now, book distribution, of course, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj has inspired us a lot. And then, of course, Mohan Rupa Prabhuji, who is temple president for ISKCON East of Kailash, he is really very, very inspirational. He is in a new avatar in the month of December, especially. So, because of his inspiration, training devotees, and Madhu Sundar Prabhu, who has been doing book distribution from past 20 years, distributing books on Delhi means eating, smoke, drinking smoke, smelling smoke, all throughout the day. In the evening, when they spit in the wash basin, the spit is black, because India is one of the most polluted cities in the world. We are maybe in top 5. We are there. So devotees, they have really sacrificed. There's so much of distribution of the books has happened, and inspiration has been coming from devotees like Maharaj and Mohan Rupa Prabhuji. And of course, during this COVID thing, of course, a lot of outreach happened. Social media also, ISKCON has become quite active. That's also one more reason, Prabhuji. So that's why it has increased. Actually, earlier we were not catering to one very major portion of the whole entire, especially I would say in India. Either we were focusing on hyper traditional people who are not connected to technology at all, and then there is also very educated class. So English speaking intellectual class, we are catering to them. And there is also one very big percentage of Hindi speaking, and they are in technology as well, Hindi speaking class, which is a very big percentage. So somewhere this was not getting addressed, because either we were too traditional or we were being quite modern. But this is like semi-modern percentage of the people. This was not getting catered. So when this started happening, then it really expanded, Prabhuji.
True. And so this happened in the last 5-10 years, I would say.
5 years, 6 years, especially.
6 years. Okay. It's wonderful. And if you consider that way, Delhi is also the capital of India. And
Yes.
how much do we connect with people? Not we as a movement are not into politics directly,
Yeah.
but just being in the capital city of India, does that affect our outreach positively, negatively, or it doesn't make much difference?
It doesn't make much difference, Prabhuji, because the sweet is sweet everywhere, whether it is in metropolitan city, whether it is in town. It is such a sweet philosophy. It is so complete. It makes so much sense. It has got right kind of engagement. So that's why, of course, we may do packaging little differently in different place, but essentially everything remains same, Prabhuji. Like we may not have Bhagavad Saptas. Bhagavad Sapta can be very successful in the town area, in village areas. It would be very successful preaching strategy. But in the cities, it can be seminars with more modern, contemporary, scientific examples. So some packaging can be a little different, but otherwise it is same, Prabhuji. And ultimately we see that it is a conviction of the preacher, which is very, very important, because we do not communicate words, we communicate consciousness. So that conviction is very touching. Like Allen Ginsberg used to say to Srila Prabhupada, there are many words, there are many things which Swamiji says I do not agree to, but when he's present before me, his presence forces me to accept what he's saying. So that's the power of purity and conviction which Prabhupada had. So because this world is actually, I'm sorry, Prabhuji.
No, go ahead.
I was saying that this world is actually, as you say, survival of the fittest. Although in terms of science, it is questionable, but in terms of preaching, it really works. Survival of the fittest. The one who has got greater amplitude of conviction would eat up the conviction of the one who has got weaker conviction. So when we have more spiritual conviction, with that stronger, that would eat up the conviction of the person who is having conviction in sense gratification, would eat it up. Actually, Prabhupada had greater conviction. Americans had conviction in sense gratification. Prabhupada had conviction in Krishna consciousness, but his was bigger. So ate this conviction. So this is very, very important part. And certainly conviction comes from purity and maturity as well.
Yeah, I think he talked about how this sweetness of Prabhupada's personal dedication. Allen Ginsberg talked about that it's not that, when Prabhupada's conviction was not that he's imposing on others, but just the sweetness of his dedication was disarming. And about conviction, there is one quote: the problem with the world is that the wise are full of doubts and the foolish are full of convictions.
That's absolutely bang on. Bullseye. Absolutely true.
And when we talk about this is a good analysis, that there is, if you consider temples and deity worship, all this will attract traditional people, and we are attract, and that is also a big demographic. And the systematic college outreach, which we do course by course, or which we are doing, that is also important. But when it is emphasizing philosophy a lot, then it attracts a particular demographic. But in between, it's that people don't have to be necessarily be English speaking to be good at technology. There are so many YouTube channels about reviewing for phones and devices. There are some which are just in Hindi, and they also have a lot of views. So people are into tech. So in one sense, you could say technology itself is their language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so reaching out to people is very good. And
social media, I'm sorry, yes, please.
No, go ahead. And what you said earlier about Delhi, sweet is sweet everywhere. I think Prabhupada was asked when he came to Africa, what is your message for Africa? So Prabhupada said, my message for Africa is the same as the message for everywhere else.
Yeah.
That if you forget God, you won't be happy.
Yes.
But when I was asking about the capital, we have also, as a movement, been able to connect with with a lot of influential people in the political domain also in the recent, you could say, months or years as compared to earlier.
Yes, absolutely, Prabhuji. Yes, we have done that. Yeah. Because this program was very catchy for the bureaucrats, the politicians. My experience is that when I meet any of the bureaucrats and politicians, when we go and meet them, 90% cases, they did not let me wait. They said, oh, somebody has from Hare Krishna has come. They call us out to the queue just because of that rapport which we have made because of this thing. So, yeah, Prabhuji, so some of the bureaucrats and politicians, they have also become favorable.
Oh.
So the schools have become more acceptable because earlier on the name of being secular, they were not allowing religion at all. But now in some of the schools they allow because it is a Modi government here in India now. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, okay, sure. You can have your Gita course and all that. People are becoming more welcoming.
Oh, okay. And the Gita course, you have directly Bhagavad Gita, or it is more gradual presentation in schools? How do you do it?
Like in schools, so we go for this Charan Prabhu's books.
Okay, you mentioned that.
Yes. So he has already designed books from standard 1 to standard 8. So he's still working on other books as well. But they are absolutely very graphical, very full of colors and pictures. Very good, actually. So I would request anybody who wants to introduce this moral education. So he has got this moral education filled with the essential teachings from the Bhagavad Gita. He's got stories from other places as well, like from Bible and Quran, so that it appears to be secular as well. But in case somebody just wants just absolutely Hindu content, those version of the books are also available. So he takes the contract and then he does this, and he does this very selflessly. He's not getting anything for himself. He himself is a DTU pass out from Delhi Technical University, being a BTech. So he's not doing for money. He's a monk. He stays in a monastery in ISKCON East of Kailash. So I would recommend his books, Values of Life. Very good. Presenting philosophies through cartoons, some sketches, some exercises, match the following, fill in the blanks. That's very good.
That's wonderful. So it's a diverse outreach with many devotees doing different things. Like I said, that started either the tide and the wave. So in one sense, in one way you are the wave, but there's a whole tide that is coming over there.
Yes. Oh yes,
it's amazing.
Absolutely.
So maybe one last question here. We consider Hindi in the broad, this particular demographic which is attracted to technology, is using technology, which we can reach through social media. So there is one feeling that because of social media, people get very distracted today. And while that is true, and there's a lot of distraction, but at the same time, I find that there are people also who are interested in a lot of quality content.
Oh, yes.
Some of your videos are short, but your Lord Shiva lecture, that's not a small lecture, and still it has a long view. So it's not. I think it's not so much just having short content unnecessary. It is more that if good content is there, people will come to that good content.
Oh yes.
Length is not the most important thing. I think the quality of the content is the most important thing.
Oh yes, Prabhuji. Absolutely. In case the content is very good, people become hypnotized with the content. And then how this time passes, they do not even realize. Although we have got short videos as well, so that when you're walking, you can listen to it. Then they are also there. But in case you have got some very good content, that even 1.5 hour thing that people appreciate. Like Amrendra Prabhu, he has got 3 hours lecture. When he came to ISKCON Dwarka, he spoke for 3 hours. I told him, Prabhuji, there is no time limit. Please. So he glorified Srimad Bhagavatam for 3 hours. And the viewership of that video is somewhere around 7 lakh or 8 lakhs. 7 to 8 lakhs people, they viewed entire thing. The entire 3 hours lecture. So sometimes when the content is very rich, people appreciate it. Yes. Although primarily we focus on short videos, because when they are traveling, they can listen to it. Yeah. So we do that.
True. Wonderful. So you'd like to add anything in conclusion, before I summarize? It's been wonderful. It's just, how we say that the world knows that God is great, but in our tradition, we come to know how great God is.
Yeah.
So I knew that the Delhi outreach was wonderful. What all you are doing was wonderful, but how wonderful it is now, I come to know to some extent through the podcast. So that's wonderful. Anything concluding you would like to add?
Yeah, nothing really. I think we have covered everything, in my opinion. Yeah, but I'm very, very fortunate to be here and talking to you. It was my good fortune, actually, that seeing you and then talking to you. It is my good fortune, and I could glorify the attempts of the other devotees I could present some of the ideas which are there in my mind, but I alone, I can't do. But yes, other devotees they can do, because ISKCON is full of talented devotees.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And not only ISKCON is full of, we can say that there are many talented people who want to do something good. And if they have the channel, we provide them the avenue, they can also do it. That's also there.
Oh, yes, Prabhuji. And ISKCON is very wonderful organization, Prabhuji, because there are people who are having their own psychophysical nature, their talents, their skills, and they get here. Here is a place where they can actually offer it to the Supreme Lord. So that's why I would request more and more people who are, whether they are part of ISKCON family or they are not part of ISKCON family, but they can certainly become part of our ISKCON family. They can offer their services. And sometimes people say, why this evil is increasing. I tell them, well, evil is not increasing. It is that good people are quiet. So good people should also speak. Speak. Gigabytes and terabytes. We should speak out. We should do that. And then, of course, when we do this, we will attract grace. Because when we give Krishna, we get Krishna. So one of the ways to become Krishna conscious. Then preaching is a fastest way of self-realization. As Srila Prabhupada also used to say this. So everyone should, at their own level, should try to preach. There are many, many avenues where we can educate people about Krishna. And when we do that, then we would get Krishna. So more we give Krishna, more we get Krishna. So we should give Krishna to more and more people on various platforms. And then you would be blessed by Srila Prabhupada. You would be blessed by Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, because we are being humble instruments of their compassion. So that is what we should try to do at whatever level we may do. The results are secondary. We should just get involved and do the service. Sometimes people become very anxious, and we should also become very popular and very famous, this and that. We should not get into that. But yes, when we sincerely try, then Krishna would take care of the rest of the thing. But when we maintain the sincere attitude, and then certainly Krishna would help us. And in case you want this, that the Hare Krishna should become the world religion, as Nostradamus has also predicted, then maybe we would be the primary contributors. We can, by Krishna's will. So certainly I would request more and more people to become part of preaching. That's very important. In my opinion, if somebody is not preaching Krishna consciousness, he is experiencing Krishna consciousness only 50%. So we must be preaching. We should not just live like a creature. We should live like a preacher. So more than a creature, we should be a preacher. So we may preach through our behavior, through our dealings, as well as words. We should do that.
Yeah, you have a good way with even English words. You say Hindi is your home territory, but even English is good. You are a wordsmith.
I'm your small student, Prabhuji. You are a very, very small student. I'm just learning from you, Prabhuji.
Nothing like that. It's been wonderful talking with you, bro. I'll try to quickly summarize and then maybe you can add. Yes. So we started by discussing about your spiritual journey in the beginning and your journey within your services also. It's amazing that you already had a sense of gratitude towards God and wanted to do something for society, especially at the mental level, helping people deal with problems. And while we've heard many stories of devotees coming to searching out for something higher, your story is quite distinct that you, in one sense, left your education, found a destination, then came back to education and again came back to that destination. That's quite distinctive. And then beyond that, so it's amazing that you started this channel about Hare Krishna TV was almost, as you said, it was accidental that in Mayapur you started in 2015 and then it took off and 1 million subscribers within just 2-3 years.
Yes, bro. 3 years. Yes,
that's amazing. And it's not just the fact that you are reaching a large number of people, but also providing them a pathway to move forward toward Krishna. So do have relevant content in the beginning, which relates with people practically, which guides them practically in their lives. And then from there, give them this format of having reviving values where you have live classes, which is an ongoing course, 30 session, and then get them to more direct courses on Krishna.
Yes.
Krishna consciousness. That's I think one of the biggest challenges for us, those who go into social media, how to have a pathway forward. So that also you have been able to do. This I feel this whole story of the outreach during the COVID times using drones and everything. That is a story which needs to be much more widely told. It has been told, but it's phenomenal. And we look at it from the perspective of not just we want to help people yes, we are helping people, but also that they come closer to Krishna and others open their hearts to Krishna, whether the influential people in society in various places. Maybe those who are not in India may not appreciate that point, that you are not told to wait, but you are allowed to come ahead. In India, standing in queues, life zindagi chali jati hai.
Yeah.
So to be given the opportunity to come, not have to wait in queues, that does indicate how much we are respected and how much we are valued.
Oh yeah,
That's a very tangible parameter, you could say parameter. And in one sense, not only are you doing well and wonderfully on social media, but you are created pathways by which, or you have ideas or outlines by which others can also do wonderfully on social media.
Yes,
contribute in their own ways.
Yes.
And lastly, we discussed about how the demographic which we are targeting, if we are clear, then there is a huge demographic who is Hindi speaking, but who is on social media, who is tech savvy, and that was untapped. Yes. And as we tap it, they are pious, but they are also tech savvy. So it's a huge audience which we can reach and can take Krishna consciousness to a much bigger level. Yes. So marketing is required as small stuff. There's stuff, but along with the stuff, we need to reach out with the stuff. Yes. Wonderful talking with you, bro. Any important points I missed out?
No. Everything perfectly fine, Prabhuji. Yes. Everything perfect.
Thank you. Wonderful talking with you, bro. Hare Krishna.
Hey, bro. Really blessed to talk to you, Prabhuji. Yeah, you are an inspiration for me and so many other preachers and devotees. You are an inspiration. Thank you very much for coming in our lives. You are actually
I will say that many people will say that they are blessed to have you in their lives, and I feel enriched, you could say, to understand what all you have been doing. Thank you very much for joining today, Amogh Lila Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.